Okay, so we're going to be working with Microsoft Word today, and this is a lot like Google Docs. So if you're working on a Google Docs, it's pretty much going to be close to exactly the same, except for this one part, which is where we're going to save it first so that we don't lose everything. So I'm going to go to File. With any Microsoft document, we go to File, click on Save As, go down to Browse. I click on Documents, find my digital literacy folder, name it whatever you want to name it, and click Save. And now it's saved. Now all I have to do to save it again is click that button right there, and it'll save all my changes. The next thing we're going to do is, in order to do all this, I need a bunch of words on my page to show you how it all works. So I'm going to there's a little trick we can do to just get random stuff on there, and we just type in equals RAND parentheses. It's a lot like Microsoft Excel. Then I'm going to tell it I want 10 paragraphs with 10 sentences each. When I hit hit enter, there we go. So now we have a bunch of words. So I'm going to go over the Home tab first. Up here we have our text editor. We can pick the font we want. And this may be stuff that you already know, and that's okay, but I'm going to go over it anyways just so everybody make sure everybody's on the same page. So I can go to Font, change the font. Whatever I highlight is what changes. I can do single words, sentences. I could even do half a word. This is the size here, the size of the font, so I can make fonts bigger or smaller. I can also use these two over here to do that. So I can highlight some words, and this one makes the font bigger one step at a time. This one makes it smaller one step at a time, and it can get pretty small. Can ignore that one. This one here, we have our bold, we have italic, we can underline stuff, and we can even double underline them or choose a bunch. There's, as you can see, when I click on the little arrow right next to the U, there's a whole bunch of different font types of underlining we can do. We can do the strike through. That's really useful when you're typing a paper for English or history and you want to change some words, but you want to leave them there just in case you might want to go back to it. So you just go like that, and then you know what the word was, but you also know that you need to take it out before you're done with, before you turn it in, the final version. Okay, the next two buttons are the Superscript and Subscript. Those you probably use a lot more in math than anything else, but we can put like a number here, and if I highlight it, click this button, it goes to a little one down a little bit below it. And the other one, if I want to do something like x squared, I highlight the 2 and Superscript, and now we have x squared right there. We have different kinds of things we can do with the fonts. There's a whole bunch of different fancy things to do with the fonts here. We can outline them, put a shadow under them, do a reflection underneath them. I'll let you just mess around with that later, but we're going to go to the next one, which is the highlighter. So I can highlight a bunch of words, click on it, and they're in yellow now. I can choose a different color. Click on the little arrow. Whenever you see a little arrow next to it, that means you have choices. So I could go red. I could highlight that and put it, black makes it hard to read, but purple. And this is the font color itself. So I can change the color of the font to red, or again, the little arrow next to it, pick a color. So those are those things all in there. Stuff we can do with the letters themselves here. This has more to do with the type of the formatting of the sentences and stuff like that. So first thing I'm going to do is make separate some sentences here. Okay, so here's the bullets. If I want to have bullet points, I can highlight a bunch of sentences and put bullet points next to them. You see that there's an arrow there, which means I have choices. I can do squares. There's that fancy one right there. All kinds of different choices. Next to it is numbering. We can have numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do a bunch of different choices with the decimal, with the point after it, with a parenthesis after it. You can do Roman numerals, letters, small Roman numerals. So you have a bunch of choices there. Here we have which way it's justified. This is called the justification, the alignment. So if I take this paragraph, and all I have to do is click right there, I can align it. Right now it's aligned to the left, which means there's a straight line in the left, and the right side kind of bounces in and out depending upon how long the words are and how it fits in. If I click on the next one, that centers it so that they're evenly spaced from side to side. I can also right justify it so that the straight line is on the right side and we have the indents on the left side. Or I can do what's called justified, which does it straight lines on both sides. See a lot of that in magazines and newspapers and stuff because it looks nice to read when it has the same nice straight on each side. This one here is line spacing. So it usually defaults to 1.15. We can go to three spaces between them. I can even go down to options. And if I want to, there we go. No, where is it? Indents and spacing. Right here. So I can go up to 10 spaces in between each, which if you want to write a lot of notes as you're going on stuff, that's good to do.